Hello and welcome. So today's video is about the top 10 movie franchises of all time. Okay, it was pretty hard for me to decide which movie should come at 8, 9, 10, 7, 6, 4 or what. So I decided to rank these movies on the basis of their revenue. It became very easy for me. Number 10 movie franchise in the list is Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. Okay, so altogether these are 5 movies. The budget of all of these movies is $1.2 billion and the revenue of these all movies is $4.5 billion. That's pretty high. That's very high profit ratio. That's why this movie is in the top 10 movie franchises of all time. Okay, so of course this franchise is owned by Disney, and if you look at the average artist score of these all movies is 47.4. That's not very high. Okay, so average audience score of this all movie is 70%. So that's what made this franchise beloved all over the world. These all movies are action, adventure, fantasy, big budget movies. If you have a look at the list of the directors, first, second, and third movie was directed by Gore Verbinski, and fourth movie in the franchise was directed by Rob Marshall, and the last movie in the franchise was directed by Jackie Roning and Espen Sandberg. So you see, the creative team behind the camera is too much. I mean, too many minds, so too many decisions, hard to come on the same point. So that's what this made this franchise kind of fade away. You can still correct it by bringing the Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann's character back, because Jack Sparrow, okay, I understand that Jack Sparrow is the heart of the franchise, get it, but that's not enough. You have to bring back Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann. They two are also very important to the franchise. I have heard there is a news that they're kind of rebooting the franchise and Margot Robbie will star in that movie, and that movie will be all female led, all female cast. That doesn't look good to me at all. They should bring Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann back, please. If we talk about the Oscars, this movie has 10 nominations and 1 win. Yeah, at least they have a win. Okay, so number 9 movie franchise in the list is, of course, Jurassic Park. Wow. First movie came out in 1993 and blew the minds of every person in the world. Never seen before, never experienced before. So unique. Super awesome. Okay, so these are all 5 movies. This franchise is owned by Universal, and if you look at the budget of these all 5 movies is $616 million, and the revenue is $5 billion. That's even higher than Pirates of the Caribbean. Pretty cool. If you have a look at the artist score, average artist score is 62%, and the average audience score is 60%. That's okay. That's kind of pass. 5 movies, and there are 4 directors. That's, I also didn't like it. So many creative people. First and second movie was directed by Steven Spielberg, and yeah, big name. Who can challenge it? Yeah, without a doubt. Good. Okay, so third movie was directed by Joe Johnston, and fourth movie was directed by Colin Trevorrow, and the last movie in the franchise was directed by Juan Antonio Bayona. So yeah, I think they should stick with one director, one creative mind, and let it go and listen to the audience what they want to see. That will be pretty awesome. Okay, this movie franchise have won 3 Oscars. Pretty good, huh? Pretty cool. Okay, there's an upcoming movie in this franchise is Jurassic World 3. Oh, that title is Jurassic World Dominion, which is coming out in 2022. So pretty excited for that. Okay, so number 8 movie franchise in the list is my favorite, to be honest. That is my favorite, all of them. This is called Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. Yeah, the wizards, Gandalf, and hobbits, and elves. So much beautiful stuff in this movie. When this movie came out, blew the minds of every single fan. And even still, after 20 years, I can still, whenever I try to watch this movie, I feel like, oh my god, that's not enough. I need more. Whew. I want to see it right now. Okay, so this movie franchise is owned by Warner Brothers, And the genre of these all movies has been action, adventure, and fantasy. And look at the budget of these all movies is $900 million, and the revenue is $5.86 billion. Super cool, pretty good. And if you look at the RT score, their average RT score is 80%, and their average audience score is 86%. That's even better. Okay, this movie franchise actually was adopted from the Tolkien books. The Tolkien's books is heavily actually based on the first age, second age, and third age. These all stories are based on the third age. Yeah, and I've heard the news that Amazon Prime bought the rights of the second age of those storylines, and they're trying to adopt it as a TV series. Yeah, that would be fun. I would like to see, I would like to explore that world as well in a second. If we talk about their Oscars, this movie franchise has 30 nominations and have won 17 Oscars. And even their one movie, The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, itself, only one movie has 11 Oscars. Most by any movie alongside Titanic and Ben-Hur. Pretty cool, huh? Right. Okay, so the number 7 movie franchise in the list is Fast and Furious. Another favorite, another beloved by fans, another my super favorite. Actually, all of these movies franchise are my favorite. Okay, so yeah, Fast and Furious. This movie franchise is owned by Universal. The budget of all of their movies is $1.2 billion, and the revenue is $5.96 billion. Super good. Thumbs up. Okay, the average Rotten Tomatoes score is 57%, and average audience score is 74%. Audience love it. They don't care about critics. Audience love it. Money is coming. Studio is happy. Fans are happy. Everyone is happy. Altogether, they have 9 movies so far, and directed by different directors, which are Rob Cohen, John Singleton. Another director is Justin Lin, James Wan, F. Gary Gray, and David Leitch. Okay, so the most of these movies are directed by Justin Lin, who directed 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th movies, and he's also going to direct 9 and 10. Why this franchise is beloved, all of that? Because of the craziness of this franchise. Before this franchise, no one could even ever imagine what could possibly they do with the cars. Okay, cars are fighting with the tanks in these movies. Cars are chasing airplanes. Cars are flying through the buildings from one building to another building. Cars are jumping from the sky. And in the next movie, The Fast and Furious 9, which will be released in June 25, cars have even reached to space. Craziness at its best, and we love it for this. The 6th movie franchise in this list is, of course, it's X-Men. Altogether, they have 13 movies, and this movie franchise is owned by 20th Century Fox, which now is a part of Disney. Right? Kind of strange. Okay, so X-Men is actually Marvel comic books, but the rights of X-Men movies were owned by 20th Century Fox, so they are in the different universe than MCU, than the current MCU line. But now Disney has bought 20th Century Fox, so they have complete right of X-Men franchise as well. And Marvel can do whatever they want with these characters. So have a look at the budget of these all 30 movies is $1.7 billion, and their revenue is $6.03 billion. Pretty good. Not bad, pretty good. Okay, and look at their average RT score is 65%, and their average audience score is 75%. The creative team behind the camera is pretty different, and very different minds. So look at the Bryan Singer, Brady Redner, Matthew Vaughn, David Leitch, Josh Boone, Simon Kimmery. So many different, but the Bryan Singer directed 4 X-Men movies. Okay, very big and talented cast, but unfortunately, creative team behind the camera was not that creative enough to justify the on-screen talent. Yeah, that's what happened to this franchise. Okay, so number 5 movie franchise is, of course, DCEU, another superhero franchise. Altogether, they have 9 movies so far. So I am not including the old DC movies like Superman movies, all Superman movies, or the Dark Knight franchise, because they are not the part of the DCEU. So that's why I didn't conclude it in that. This DCEU franchise, this property is owned by Warner Brothers. Altogether, they have 9 movies, And the budget of these all 9 movies is $1.4 billion, and the revenue is $6.7 billion. So if you see, the average artist score of this franchise is 62%, and audience score is 75%. Even though early stage like Man of Steel, Batman or Superman, the first Suicide Squad movie, these all movies were critically tanked by the critics. Overall, they have managed to boost up their artist score as well, so that's why it's getting better. Actually, there's always a talk about DC versus Marvel. I don't see it like this. I mean, I'm a superhero movie fan, so I don't see DC versus Marvel. I want to see Marvel at its best, and I also want to see DC at its best. I don't want these two movies to compete. I just want to see the best version of these two franchises. This universe has also won Oscar. After all that hate, this movie franchise still have one Oscar. Good on them. So the fourth movie franchise in this list is James Bond 007. Okay, so this franchise is owned by Sony, created by Ian Fleming. These are altogether 24 movies. If you see, the budget of these all 24 movies is $1.8 billion, and the revenue is $7.17 billion. If you want to see any spy movies, that's the best you can get. Okay, look at their artist score. Average artist score is 69%, and average audience score is 63%. Okay, first time James Bond was played by Sean Connery, and then it was played by David Niven, who portrayed the James Bond role in 1967's Casino Royale. Okay, and then it was portrayed by George Lazenby in 1969, and then it was portrayed by Roger Moore, and then it was portrayed by Timothy Dalton, and then it was portrayed by Pierce Brosnan, and then the current James Bond is portrayed by Daniel Craig. To me, I think he's the best James Bond. I loved him in this role, but there are rumors that want to cast another actor for this role. There are some rumors about Henry Cavill. He will be pretty awesome as well. Yeah, let's fingers crossed and see. I'm okay with both of them. Let's see. Okay, so there is another new James Bond upcoming movie is No Time to Die, that will be released in this year or later in fall this year. Okay, so this movie franchise has actually 5 Oscars. Pretty good. Okay, let's move on to the number 3rd movie franchise in this list, and that is Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts. Okay, now they are calling it Wizarding World. Okay, so this franchise is owned by Warner Brothers. Okay, so these all movies are, created by J.K. Rowling from his books of Harry Potter. Okay, altogether there are 10 movies, 8 Harry Potter movies and 2 Fantastic Beasts movies. And look at their overall budget of $1.57 billion, and their revenue is $9.18 billion. Pretty awesome. Unfortunately, they have never won an Oscar, but they collected so much money over the years. Okay, right now their Fantastic Beasts movies are kind of struggling, and there's another Johnny Depp controversy as well, and then there's J.K. Rowling, that transgender controversy. But big fan base of this movie, so when they're gonna make a good, perfect movie, everyone is gonna love it and watch it many, many times. Okay, so the second movie franchise in this list is, of course, Star Wars. These movies are owned by Lucasfilm. Itself is owned by Disney. So many Disney properties. Okay, so if you look at the budget of these all franchises, is $1.6 billion, and their revenue is $10.2 billion. Whew. Okay, so look at the average artist score is 77%, and the average audience score is also 77%. Equal. Critics and audience are on the same page all the time, but not with the last one. This movie franchise have won 8 Oscars. So much respect throughout the years. Pretty good on them. Okay, so there are 3 upcoming movies of Star Wars as well. One will be coming in 2022, then 2024, and then 2026. So I'm pretty excited for that as well. Okay, so let's move on to the number 1 movie franchise, Marvel. Wow. Okay, so this franchise is owned by Disney. Another superhero franchise in the list. Okay, So altogether, these are 23 movies so far, and their average RT score is 83.8, and average audience score is 82.1. Pretty same, pretty good. Actually, why this franchise has been successful? Because their creative team, the creative person behind the camera, is only one man, and that is Kevin Feige. Okay, yes, there are so many directors on different movies, all 23 movies, but there's only one producer all the time. He's the one who controlling, looking after every single movie, how the story goes. Super cool. I think no one has done it before, and I think no one can ever compete that in the future. Maybe DCEU, but that's a rough ride over there. Okay, luckily their Black Panther movie has got 3 Oscars. That's very good for them as well. So these are the top 10 movie franchises of all time. Okay, so kind of all of them are my favorite. I can never bore from these movies. I can watch them again and again. I'm never bored. Even my family members bored, but I can never bored. Okay, please write down in the comment which is your best movie franchise of all time. Okay, so see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.